So we got a meetup. So far it says 10 people have registered to come. It's gonna be fucking huge. Huge. I bet you we have like 5 people show up, but these are just for more intimacy, right? We'll do some other like larger meetups. But again, I always talk about my brand. This is really just to build more brand. It's so Jake can come record us talking to more people to make more content. And on top of that, we get to help people with like their intricate problems. Odds are they're probably thinking the wrong way. And if we can have 5 different conversations that change their lives are gonna be easier. I'm gonna feel better about myself because I actually helped them, right? And helping others does give me a lot of joy, right? And so I win both ways. I'm gonna make more money over time because of my brand, and I get to help people make more money. It's a no-brainer. Hopefully Mike comes in and he can talk about what he wants to get out of this meetup. But that's what I'd like to get out of this meetup, is more content and help at least 5 people. In whatever way possible, right? It may be real estate, it may be business, and maybe with their fucking family. I don't know. What are you doing? So are you trying to wholesale? What are you trying to do, bro?
I'm trying to wholesale, yeah.
Are you doing any like marketing or anything?
I'm not really doing much, just kind of learning as of right now. Just to podcasts and stuff like that.
I would tell you, just start cold calling or door knocking. And then any questions you have, just fucking post it in the groups. And that'll help you with your learning. Or listen to a podcast that's applicable to the problem you're having.
Yes.
But just start taking action like right away.
Okay, for sure.
All right, because like this time you're spending, you could be taking action and learning at the same time. Because like only thing you're gonna run into is, there's nothing you'll run into that someone has not run into.
Okay.
To where if you send them a DM of a very, very specific question, I'll answer it, Mike will answer it, Jason will answer it, everyone will answer it. Because it's a very specific question, not like, hey, how do I get started in real estate? Like, bro, like go fucking YouTube that shit.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But if like, you're like, hey, I just talked to a seller, they said this, what should I do? Super easy, right? And you're taking action because like all the people want to see is that like you're moving forward and taking action. If you're just sitting there asking the same thing over and over again, then that's when people will stop engaging with you.
Okay, I see.
Mine that I'm in right now.
Yeah.
So the way I joined that, let's take it back like 4 months before I go. I get a call from Kent Clothier. Mm-hmm. He's like, hey, come check out my Billionaire Boardroom Mastermind. If you like it, you can join. If not, cool. You can fly back home. Like 2 weeks before that, I had my friend Alex on, and he's one of the largest wholesalers in the country. And then I brought on his partner who runs a company called Lamso Leads and Lamso Media. And they run a cold calling company too. But I bring them on. They happen to be a part of that mastermind. I go down to that mastermind. Right. I'm already with them. They know me, right? And so I get to go out with them the whole time. They're like the top of that mastermind. Right. Automatically tap into their brand, right? Going out with them and everything else. So one night we all go out, fucking spending 20,000 plus at the club, going hard. I meet this guy named Los, who's now a really, really good friend of mine. Okay. I'm talking to him. I talk to him until like 8 a.m. in the morning. I am talking to him. Right. I end up joining his mastermind. And like I'm talking to him. I would have never met him. Him and Josh own a mastermind called Powerhouse. Josh is 20 years old and he makes over $100 million a year.
Okay, damn. Jeez.
I would have never met Los if I wouldn't have brought those two on my mastermind.
That's crazy.
Right, and then like all those doors open for me, and I got to. Then when I go to that mastermind with Josh and Los, who am I with the whole time? I'm with Los because Los is my friend.
That's cool.
Everyone else in that mastermind joined for him, but I know Los. It's the meetup, and then like I was like, oh shit, we can't bring anybody to come talk at the meetup anymore. Right. I might as well just do it on Facebook Live. So I do it on Facebook Live, and I bring people on. Then I just eventually turned it into a podcast.
Because I thought about it, and like it wouldn't be too hard for me, like especially if it was just like me documenting my like the emotional side to investing too, like the thoughts behind it that's not on YouTube, not on Reels, like the struggles, you know?
I think so. For me, I try and talk about struggles more than anything, and then I talk about my thought processes. Right. Right, and then that way, all of the investors who want to invest with me know, like, and trust me because they hear intimately what I'm thinking and like what I actually think. Like what I'm doing to process skills, grow more. They hear that with my solo podcasts. And then everybody who sees me on my podcast sees me with other people who make 7 figures plus. And yes, we have 7-figure companies. Right. But I talk to a bunch of other people who do way more than me. Right. I'm automatically associated with them.
It lifts you up.
It lifts me up, and I automatically tap into that. And then like how we talked about going VIP to events.
Right.
I go to VIP, I already know all the fucking people. I've already talked to them all intimately for an hour. Stroking their ego, asking them like, hey.
Right, dude, that's awesome.
Right, that's awesome, and I'm really excited.
Right.
But then they automatically know me, they respect me, they know like I actually do business. And so when I go to an event, I'm with the best people all the time because I know all of them.
Right.
And I'm in their VIP, right? So it's,
right.
It all ties together with like what you're trying to accomplish. I think the rawness of the fuck is that's why people resonate with my brand.
Right.
Because like my podcast, when I sit there, like the other day when Jake recorded it,
right.
I sat there and I talked for fucking 40 minutes about like, okay, these are the growing pains I'm going through that are limiting me from making the amount of money I make, from me being a better business owner, from me being a better father, being a better investor. And then anybody who listens to my podcast sees that. Right. Just like how our Instagram is like our portfolio, I get to add to that portfolio like the me side to where, bro, they'll invest with me no problem because they see it. Right. I'll talk about like, hey, I had an opportunity to fuck this guy over and I didn't do it. He still fucked us. Right. I didn't do it. I have values.
I have stuff that too. I can talk about
like
it.
you can talk about it and then more credibility. Right. More like trust. Of, hey, so I'm going through this, this, and this. These are my thoughts on this. And then I'm sitting there, and one thing I was thinking about a lot lately is Josh's first mentor was a billionaire. I was like, okay, so how can I be that to other people? Right. Like, how big of an influence can I have on my children if they're groomed by me? Right. Like, what type of impact can I make through the world if I'm an actual billionaire and then I start a program to where I'm grooming people? Right. But then you think about that. That makes sense, man. But then I just talked about it. And you're like, oh, wow, cool.
And now you have an insight to your head. You know?
Right, then you have an insight into my head. You see how I work. You see how I think. I think having a podcast is the best thing ever.
And dude, I bet, I don't know if you've dealt with this. I think you've talked about it once. I don't know, you too, man. But like, it feels lonely. And I feel like having a podcast is like kind of another chance to like express yourself.
Oh, bro.
Like lonely.
You're talking about entrepreneurship?
Yeah.
Fucking lonely.
Because I'm in my room all day. That's it, just me, you know?
Even when I come here, I see Jake probably once a week. Yeah. But when I come here, Chris may be here. Yeah. I joined so many masterminds so I can go hang out with my friends. Right. Right, and then I can actually talk to them about my problems. But like, bro, besides Mike, I may see Pritchard every now and then. Okay. Who else? But then like I'll be in Salt Lake all December. And I don't have entrepreneurship friends like that out there. Like, bro, it's lonely.
It really is.
It's the easiest money you ever make. Banks, think about the banks. The banks give you 0.001% on your money, and then they lend it out at 4 to 12%. With what overhead? They just give the money, and then they're like, hey, no, you got to pay me every month. Yeah. So they're making that spread. It's the best business ever.
It's crazy, dude. It's easy.
It's easy. As long as you like underwrite everything the right way, starting to see like, oh wow. Because like all the other people in wholesale, like they talk about one thing and then like actual business numbers are fucking through the roof compared to that. Like that's like a month's worth of revenue. Right? Now you're like, oh wow, we can do that. Now, especially when you're getting close to dude, he's gonna start to show you like, oh no, like we actually do this over here. And it dwindles what you think. It dwindles what you think, and it's just like a different game that you start to play and like start to think about and like, how can I get there? What can I do to get there that's easy?
Value, right? Provide value and then get there.
Right, like what value can I create that, so next year, I want to make $2 million net with 2 employees. How, like what can I create that's going to do that? Right, but I wouldn't even thought about that until I was around other people who are doing something similar. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like your eyes get open. At the very beginning you think like, oh man, 1 deal a month, I'd be living. And then grows.
You ain't living yet, yeah.
You ain't living yet. You ain't. Party. And we did so much Molly. And then like it's like 5 in the morning, I'm in the shower and I crashed. And I'm just like laying there like, oh my God. Next morning, IV, ready to go.
That's funny.
More drugs.
Yes. I wish I had.
I went to a self-storage mastermind a couple weeks ago, and we hadn't bought a storage facility, and it was the worst thing I'd ever done in my life. We'd been in it for like 6 months. We didn't buy one, and I felt like dog shit. You're in a group of everybody doing the same thing. Got it. And then I get there, and like we're here again, and yes, we're pushing forward all our other companies, but this one is not moving the way we want it to. Everyone in that mastermind only does storage. our storage had not performed the way we wanted it to, and then we got to fucking sit there and talk to everybody and tell them why we suck. Right? But it's an honest conversation, and you don't want to avoid it. And so in the back of your head, like, man, I'm not fucking going back next Friday, and shit hasn't happened. I'm going to make something happen.
Yeah.
Right? And then you have that organic pressure of everybody else. Like, okay, no, did you do this? Did you do what I told you to? Because you'd be amazed. Like, people pay me for mentorship. One thing. And then they don't fucking do it. I'm like, bro, why did you pay me? Like, you paid me for me to tell you what to do, just gonna help you make more money.
Yeah.
And then you didn't do it. Like, it's just wild. So that way you have the community pressure of it all. And you'll meet someone to where I think I met Mike at one of my meetups. I met Justin on social.
First meetup.
Came to one of my meetups where I think Alan, was it Alan?
Alan was the first one, yep.
I met Alan at the meetup when I first got back home from Seattle. And then I ended up working for him. To where like this, generally if you can go to this one, there's ours, Jason's, and Dean's. That are like the three biggest ones. To where if you can go to those, meet people, you may find a partner, or you at least have some type of community, because I do think this shit's lonely as fuck. Me and Justin were talking about it. Bro, it's lonely as fuck.
Lonely, man.
There's an overhead coming like in like 4 days. Then you're really broke. Right, but then like if you can take those little small deals, and then every time I try and negotiate the buyer just a little bit harder, negotiate that seller just a little bit harder, because that adds up over time, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say we add on $4,000 every deal we do. If we're doing 100 deals a year, that's a lot of top line that we could add to our actual revenue. And even if you're only doing, let's say you're only doing 5, but instead of making, what's 4 times 5, 20? You make an extra 20 grand a year, just from like, just a slight nudge each way. You'll thank yourself. So just try and be cognizant of it. I wish I was a lot earlier on, because you're just like trying to get shit done. You're low-key frantic, panicking. Oh, is it gonna fall apart? Oh, it may fall apart. The deal's done, it's not done. The deal's done, oh, it's not done.
Mike already angered for you.
And you can just throw it out there, bro. Just throw it out there. I'll be like, oh, well, like I've gone and I've been like, oh, I thought about buying this thing for like 50 grand. And I'll just see what he says and I'll laugh it off. Right? But I will throw in a mean-ass anchor.
That's what separates.
Having a sales system, I think, is number one, and a lot of people don't even have a system, right? So you're just hopping on the phone, and you're trying to do something, but then you don't follow it, and then you don't know what you need to work on. And then you don't know why something went wrong, right? So you can't, okay, lay out the fucking timeline. At what point in the timeline did it break? That's what you can do with the Sandler sales system, or any sales system that you have. You can be like, okay, so I missed the upfront agreement. That's why we weren't able to do X, and that's why it died at this certain point of our conversation. That, right? And then you can listen to the phone call, and if you can like follow your script and follow the line, you can coach up people, right? Then we have the scalability of it. Like, oh, we're right here. Right here, we need to do this better. All right, sweet. Right, then you can score it. I love the Sandler sales system. So I do truly think real estate, wholesaling is not that scalable, right? So there's some really good entrepreneurs who have really good businesses, but so there's some people doing like 3 million. I know a dude doing 10 million. 200K of that 10 million, 200K a month of that 10 million comes from JVs. So that adds to the scalability of it. Mm-hmm. But getting past that 10 million is really, really hard. So I have friends in e-commerce and other businesses who do significantly more, and I'll take a 10% off of 100 million any day.
Mark.
Right? And I mean, I got Mark. Mark's a good friend of mine, and Mark's the one who's telling me, like, hey, yeah, know what you're doing, but know the game you need to be playing in order to hit actual scale and create a business. Because like wholesaling is, I think, the greatest entry into business you can do, because it's you can operate at really low overhead at the very beginning and make so much cash you don't even know. Like, it's so easy. But then like you're gonna run into a point where okay, now we're here, and then yeah, we're doing 3 million, we operate at 30%, but let it serve its purpose, and for me, move on. Like, put it in place, put on a good COO, let it run. Now it's a cash flow machine. Now I have confidence, like we were talking about earlier, right? Now I have confidence from the other cash flow that I have coming in from other businesses. To like, oh, well, I decided to pursue this. I like it, I'm capitalized. Maybe I can go buy something. Maybe I have enough cash to start something. I paid for call magicians straight out of my pocket for a while. Just putting it up off the ground, then I didn't even take a check out of it, but I could, because I had the wholesaling stuff that was like actually running. Yeah. Right, so yes, 30% is a really, really, really good number.
On a smaller scale, you're thinking of
I think you could operate under 3, even I think at, depending on what you do, even at 3 you could operate it more, right? I'm really big at building my brand just because I could be like, hey, everyone here, my brand's as strong because I have the biggest buyers. So it's like, Dino, send me your deals. I just operated at 0. Like I have 0 overhead. I'm running a 100% profitable business. You know what I'm saying? And now I can do it at scale. Key glee is that. Time, because you still need to develop the skill to be able to wear multiple hats. You're not going to do it forever, but you still need to get good at it. And at the beginning, you're just going to do one thing, then the next thing. But if you can do both things simultaneously really good, that's how you're going to get paid the most, because no one else can do it. You know, so if we can do both at the same time, then we're really cooking. Now, it's really hard, but if we can like start to learn it, and now you have the cash flows coming in, and I can force it, start to learn it better, then we're going to make even more money. But at least you give yourself some leeway to go fuck it up. Right? Go fuck it up, try and do it. Go fuck it up, try and do it. But you still have revenue coming in. Because the hardest thing I think in wholesale is consistent revenue.
Yep. That is 100%.
And like I'm talking like hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. And it's still like a dip. And it's still a dip. And it's still a dip. And it's an up and it's a dip. Most people don't ever talk like business is straight cash flow. Like no cash flow is a straight consistent thing. Even if you have a bunch of rentals. It only adds to the it only adds to you, right? So like when we bring on another VA, don't stop. You just keep going. Now you have 2 of you. And now it's double the work because a lot of people are like, oh, well, I hired a VA. I don't need to work anymore. But if you guys can both go and then you can learn how to lead that person, now you're getting better at leadership and you're helping that person help you grow your business. Now like you can actually start developing skills and then you can scale it even bigger.
And like how just by like sitting there and going through kind of like a script with them or having
Yeah, like coaching them up, like, hey, right there, we don't want to say this, we want to say
and all
that.
that shit. Yeah.
Yeah, through Zoom and then
So how much time do you think you like out of a month or a week spend with like less than like 5 VAs? Like, how much
I'd talk to them all every day if I was you. I mean, it's your company, they're your employees. Right, what motivates you? What are you trying to accomplish? Because like, if they just think they're gonna be a cold caller for the rest of their life, they're not gonna last.
So you say you spend most of the time training them, helping them, so that they can help you instead of you being out in the streets.
Right, exactly. Like, how can I help them grow to be better while I'm growing? And then they grow, and then now they see the company's growing, they can move up in the company, then they stay with you. Because the hardest part in business is people. Right, so if you keep losing your fucking VAs all the time, then you're in a constant flux of hiring. That sucks ass. And then they don't know you, they don't know how you think, they don't know how you feel about things. Then, if they're with you the whole time, and then they can grow, it's awesome. $4,000 a month minimum. Right, to where at the beginning, I would challenge if you outsource things, you need to develop the skills to lead people. That's where you're gonna like gain the most from it. The reason I don't think when you're newer you should outsource things, and my opinion's recently changed because I've started to value leadership more. If you can learn to like lead them, motivate them, like develop that skill, then when you're actually paying legitimate payroll, you aren't just now learning and then you fuck it all up. For me, like most of us are all younger guys. If you weren't in leadership situations, now you need to get used to it, learn human psychology, all that good shit.
What's like a good
I know how it is. I know you probably need to be around 170.
I'd go 4 to 7. 4 to 7. 7's on the high side.
You're actually right.
annually? That's like how much could I get out of that?
I can see 150.
Oh, it just depends.
And I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm like,
I'd tell you to hire someone on full time.
exactly. I said, he goes, let me talk to
So
my
40
wife.
hours a week.
Let me talk to my wife.
But I mean, as much as you can afford, don't put yourself in a shitty situation.
I feel good about it. Like,
But pay someone for 40 hours a week. When we hire someone, there's so much market going on. We want to like at least be able to poke through. If you're only doing 20 hours, it needs to be like a really, really, really niche list. For me, like at any point in time, I probably have like 12 cold callers going. Right? And then I know Mike has 3. I know Justin has like 3. Oscar has like 5.
And you started doing that after you had already gotten some deals and stuff. Right?
Yeah, but like if we can
closing on that property
afford one
and then just wholesaling out.
and then break through it and it gets more leads for us and then we're doing that at the same time, we'll get a lot farther faster.
Right?
Number one thing that is difference between really everybody, the biggest dogs probably spend most money on marketing.
I see that. I'd probably do that too.
Like that, so it's similar, except for like once you cap, like I think you get a percentage. They buy you a percentage of their stock, which for a lot of realtors, you really have no retirement plan, and that was their ability. A lot of people who switched was before they actually went live on the stock market. So you were getting that stock at a very low rate. So now imagine if real turns into the next Keller Williams when you talk about the popularity, you know, and just the scalability of it. Can you imagine owning a percentage of that stock 20 years from now? You know, that's actually can set up your family long term, whereas before you were just receiving a cap for it and getting 100% of your commissions for that.
And the team model isn't scalable. I truly don't think. So we can use our friend who had the team over there, and he was working 20 hours a week to only make $100,000 a year. This man is an entrepreneur. If he puts 20 hours a week into anything, he's gonna make a fuck ton more than $100,000 a year doing that. So he's like, okay, I need to switch my focus. If I'm gonna do this, what's the model that will actually serve me? Right, so that's why more people are switching over to like Real and EXP, because the scalability of it, like all that other shit actually works, and they get it, and it's less management intensive, right? To where if it's an MLM model, bro, all I gotta do is be an influencer. I gotta have Jake come here, record us, and then people see it and they see, like the way I talk, then I'm gonna sign up underneath you. All right, well guess what? That's more passive income for me. It's another rental. All right, it's another rental. I don't think it would need a script. I think that's more. As far as cold calling, at the beginning, hey John, Stratt, you interested in selling your house on 123 Main Street? That, I mean, for me, but I have that type of authority.
You have that type of stock price. But you also have a skill set that you've trained already. So it's,
Right.
it's easy for us to say,
I think
hey,
a script is just so they can see the
a
question
script
that
you need, so we can understand the flow of a conversation of talking to a seller.
Yeah.
Once you understand the flow of a conversation, from that point, I haven't fucking used a script in forever. Because I know that there's things that I need to know. I need to know fucking the price, the motivation, the timeline of sale, and I need to have an idea. With
For
price
sales, I'll
motivation.
use a script still.
Huh?
For sales, I just for my line, just for the stability of it, to where I can look back and like, oh, Stratt, you fucked up.
That one didn't work. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's why I use a
Yes.
script for sales.
Yes.
But for cold calling, yes, it's just so you can get the basic question, so I guess it's the same principle.
So
But
you
like
understand
all
how
these
it is.
other people, hey, this is a script we use, this is a script we use. Only thing that's different in all those fucking scripts is the first line.
Yes.
And all those people are at least doing, oh, well, we do 7 figures in revenue a year, use our script.
It's not based off that script. It's based off.
Go get-
That's the cold call.
Yeah.
Who's fucking closing them?
Go get Steve Train, use Steve Train's script, you'll be good. Don't go buy anything else, don't think about it again.
That's free too.
It's free.
Which one is it again?
Steve Train's.
Steve Trains?
And I start to think about what you
go
think
get the
is.
goddamn TTP script. I mean, it's probably
That's all you
different.
need.
That's all you need.
That's why I use
That TTP script, bro.
Right? All you need is one, but quit thinking about like Mickey Mouse.
At the end, I tell people, bro, I don't have a fear in going broke because I know how to make money. And if I'm not making money, I can 100% look at myself in the mirror and say, what have you really done to generate something? I can tell you now, if we don't have any deals right now, which we do, but if we don't have any deals right now, it's 100% because I literally haven't opened up Resimply. I haven't talked to one seller in probably like 2 weeks. Not because I'm just choosing not to, but because of other shit, right, that I'm working on. But you can always pinpoint why your business isn't making money. It always comes down to you. And I know if I fucking just do what I need to do, I will close deals.